Emily Bennett once lived in a big, beautiful house. Her father was a successful businessman, and they had everything they could ever want. Emily's life was full of luxury. She wore the finest clothes, attended fancy parties, and had many friends. But none of them were as close to her as Adam Carter. Adam's father worked for Emily's family as their chauffeur. Despite their different social statuses, Emily and Adam were best friends. They played together every day, running through the gardens and laughing as if the world outside didn't exist. But when Emily was 12, her father's business failed. He had made some bad investments, and soon they lost everything. The big house was sold, the fancy cars were taken away, and Emily's family had to move to a small town far away. Emily was heartbroken. She had to leave behind everything she knew, including Adam. They lost touch, and she missed him every day. Years passed, and Emily's life became very different. She now lived in a small, run-down apartment with her mother. Her father had passed away from the stress of losing the business, and her mother worked long hours at a local restaurant to make enough money. Emily had to grow up fast. She worked at a grocery store to help her mother with the bills. The days of luxury were long gone, and Emily had learned to live a simple life. She didn't talk about her past to anyone, and nobody knew that she was once a rich girl. One day, while working at the grocery store, Emily's boss, Mr. Walker, called her into his office. Mr. Walker was a stern man who didn't care much about his employees. He only cared about making money. He was always on Emily's case, telling her to work faster and do more. This time, he wasn't alone in his office. A woman named Karen was sitting next to him. Karen was the store's new manager, and she was even tougher than Mr. Walker. She seemed to enjoy making life hard for Emily. "Emily," Mr. Walker said, "Karen here will be taking over some of my duties, and she'll be in charge of you from now on. Make sure you do exactly as she says." Karen looked at Emily with a cold smile. "I'll be watching you closely, Emily. I don't tolerate mistakes. If you can't keep up, I'll find someone who can." Emily nodded, feeling nervous. She knew Karen was trouble, but she couldn't afford to lose her job. She needed the money to help her mother. Over the next few weeks, Karen made Emily's life miserable. She gave her extra work, criticized her every move, and made sure Emily knew that she was replaceable. Emily tried her best to keep up, but it was hard. Every day felt like a struggle. Meanwhile, Adam Carter had become a very successful man. After leaving Emily's family, his father had found another job. But Adam was determined to make a name for himself. He worked hard, studied business, and eventually started his own company. His business grew quickly, and soon Adam was a billionaire. He had everything he had ever dreamed of, but something was missing. He often thought about Emily and wondered what had happened to her. He missed their friendship and wished he could see her again. One rainy evening, Adam was in town for a business meeting. He decided to take a walk to clear his mind. As he walked past a small grocery store, He noticed a young woman standing outside, trying to stay dry under the awning. She looked tired and worn out, but there was something familiar about her. Adam stopped and stared, trying to remember where he had seen her before. Then it hit him. It was Emily, his childhood friend. She looked so different, but there was no mistaking it. Adam was shocked. He had never expected to find Emily like this. He wanted to approach her, but he wasn't sure what to say. What if she didn't remember him? What if she was angry at him for disappearing from her life? He hesitated, but then decided to go inside the store. He needed to know if it was really her. Emily was inside, stocking shelves. She didn't see Adam come in, and when she did, she didn't recognize him. He was now a tall, confident man in an expensive suit, far from the boy she once knew. Adam walked up to her and said, "Excuse me, can you help me find something?" Emily turned around and smiled politely. "Of course, what are you looking for?" Adam looked into her eyes and said softly, "Emily, it's me, Adam." Emily froze. She couldn't believe her ears. She stared at Adam, trying to process what he had just said. "Adam," she whispered, "is it really you?" Adam nodded, and Emily's eyes filled with tears. She couldn't believe that after all these years, Adam was standing right in front of her. They hugged tightly, both overwhelmed with emotion. For a moment, it felt like they were kids again, back in the garden, laughing and playing without a care in the world. But the moment didn't last long. Karen, who had been watching from a distance, walked over with a scowl on her face. "Emily, what are you doing? Get back to work." Adam turned to Karen and said firmly, "Excuse me, but I was talking to Emily." Karen glared at him. "I don't care who you are. Emily has work to do." Adam's expression hardened. "I'm Adam Carter, and I own this building. You might want to think twice before speaking to me like that." Karen's face went pale. She quickly backed off, mumbling an apology. Emily couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. For the first time, she saw Karen lose her composure. But then she realized the implications of what Adam had just said. He was now a powerful and wealthy man, and she was just a grocery store worker. The gap between them had never been wider. After Karen left, Adam and Emily talked for a long time. They caught up on everything that had happened in their lives. Adam was shocked to learn about Emily's struggles, and he felt a deep sense of guilt. He wanted to help her, but Emily was proud. She didn't want to accept his charity. She had worked hard to survive, and she wasn't about to let anyone take that away from her. As the days passed, Adam and Emily spent more time together. They began to rebuild their friendship, but it wasn't easy. Adam wanted to take care of Emily, to give her the life she deserved, but Emily resisted. She didn't want to be dependent on anyone, not even Adam. She was afraid that if she accepted his help, she would lose herself in the process. Meanwhile, Karen was furious. She didn't like seeing Emily happy, especially with someone as powerful as Adam. She knew that if Emily and Adam got close, her position at the store could be threatened. Karen decided to make Emily's life even harder. She started spreading rumors about Emily at work, trying to turn everyone against her. She also began to sabotage Emily's work, hoping to get her fired. But Karen wasn't the only one causing trouble. There was also a man named Lucas, who worked at the store and had his eye on Emily. Lucas was jealous of Adam and wanted Emily for himself. He started following Emily around, trying to get her attention. When she didn't respond to his advances, he became angry and started making threats. One day, after a particularly bad day at work, Emily was walking home when Lucas appeared out of nowhere. He grabbed her arm and said, "You think you're too good for me, don't you? Well, I'm not going to let some rich guy take you away." Emily tried to pull away, but Lucas was too strong. Just as things were about to get worse, Adam appeared. He had been driving by and saw what was happening. He jumped out of his car and ran to Emily's side. "Let her go, Lucas," Adam said in a voice that was firm and decisive. Lucas hesitated, then released Emily. He knew he couldn't take on Adam. He muttered something under his breath and walked away, leaving Emily shaken. Adam took Emily home and made sure she was safe. He wanted to report Lucas to the police, but Emily begged him not to. She didn't want any more trouble. Reluctantly, Adam agreed, but he vowed to protect her from then on. After that night, Adam realized how much Emily meant to him. He didn't just want to be her friend. He wanted to spend the rest of his life with her. But he knew that Emily had been through a lot, and he didn't want to rush her. He decided to take things slow, showing her that he was serious about their future together. Despite the challenges, Emily and Adam grew closer. They started spending more time together, and Emily began to open up to the idea of a life with Adam. She still had her doubts, but she couldn't deny her feelings for him. As for Karen, her plan to sabotage Emily backfired. Mr. Walker found out about her actions and fired her. Karen left the store in disgrace, but she vowed to get revenge on Emily someday. Lucas, on the other hand, disappeared after his confrontation with Adam. No one knew where he went, and Emily hoped that she would never see him again. Finally, after months of rebuilding their relationship, Adam decided it was time to tell Emily how he truly felt. He took her to the place where they used to play as children, a beautiful garden filled with flowers. As they walked through the garden, memories flooded back. The flowers, the soft breeze, and the sound of birds singing in the trees reminded them both of the carefree days they had once shared. Adam stopped by an old oak tree, the same one they used to sit under as children. He took Emily's hands in his and looked into her eyes. "Emily," he began, his voice filled with emotion, "we've been through so much together. We've faced challenges and seen each other at our lowest. But through it all, one thing has remained the same. I've never stopped caring about you. I never forgot about you, not for a single day." Emily's heart raced. She had never expected this moment to come, not after everything that had happened. "Adam," she whispered, "I care about you too. But I'm afraid we come from such different worlds now." Adam shook his head. I don't care about any of that. What matters is how we feel about each other. You've been strong, and you've shown me that you're still the same Emily I knew as a child, kind, caring, and brave. I want to be there for you, not just as your friend, but as something more. Emily felt tears welling up in her eyes. She had always feared that their differences would keep them apart, but hearing Adam's words made her realize that maybe, just maybe, they could make it work. Adam, I don't know what to say, Emily said, her voice trembling. I've been so afraid of letting anyone in, of being hurt again. But you've always been there for me, even when I didn't know it. Maybe it's time I let go of my fears. Adam smiled, a look of relief and happiness on his face. That's all I want, Emily. I want to be there for you, to make new memories together, and to build a future with you. Emily took a deep breath, then nodded. I want that too, Adam. I don't want to let fear hold me back anymore. I want to be with you. With those words, Adam pulled her into a gentle embrace, and they stood there for a moment, holding each other as the sun began to set. It was as if the world around them had disappeared, leaving just the two of them in that magical place. As the days turned into weeks, Emily and Adam began to plan their future together. They knew it wouldn't be easy, but they were determined to make it work. Adam helped Emily find a better job, one where she could use her skills and not be treated poorly like at the grocery store. Emily's mother was thrilled to see her daughter happy again, and she quickly grew fond of Adam. But not everyone was happy about their relationship. Karen, who had been fired from the grocery store, was still lurking in the background. She was bitter and angry, blaming Emily for everything that had gone wrong in her life. Karen began to plot her revenge, determined to tear Adam and Emily apart. One evening, as Emily and Adam were having dinner at a quiet restaurant, Karen walked in. She had been waiting for this moment. She approached their table with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Well, well, look who it is, Karen said, her voice dripping with sarcasm. The billionaire and his little poor girl. Isn't this just the sweetest thing? Adam frowned, sensing the malice in her tone. Karen, what do you want? Karen laughed, a cold, bitter sound. What do I want? I want to see you both suffer. You think you can just have your happy ending, don't you? But life doesn't work that way. Emily felt a chill run down her spine. She knew Karen was dangerous, but she hadn't expected her to confront them so openly. Karen, you need to let this go, Emily said, trying to remain calm. We've all moved on. There's no need for this. But Karen wasn't listening. She leaned in closer, her eyes glinting with malice. Oh, I haven't even started. You'll regret ever crossing me, Emily, and as for you, Adam, I'll make sure you lose everything you care about. Adam stood up, his expression hardening. Karen, I don't know what you're planning, but you need to leave now. This is your last warning. Karen sneered at him. You think you can scare me? I'll ruin both of you, just wait and see. With that, Karen turned and walked out of the restaurant, leaving a tense silence behind her. Emily felt shaken, but Adam took her hand and squeezed it gently. "Don't worry, Emily," Adam said softly. "I won't let her hurt you. We'll handle this together." Emily nodded, but she couldn't shake the feeling that Karen's threat was very real. Over the next few weeks, strange things started happening. Emily's car was vandalized. Her new job received anonymous complaints about her, and she began receiving threatening messages. It was clear that Karen was behind all of it, but there was no proof. Adam hired security to protect Emily and her mother, and he worked tirelessly to find a way to stop Karen, but Karen was clever, and she always stayed one step ahead. She was obsessed with destroying Emily, and nothing seemed to deter her. "Lucas, what are you doing here?" Emily asked, her heart pounding. "Emily, you have to listen to me," Lucas said urgently. "Karen, she's out of control. She's planning something big. Something that could really hurt you and Adam. You have to stop her." Emily was shocked. "Why are you telling me this?" Lucas sighed, looking ashamed. "I made a lot of mistakes. I was angry and jealous, but I never wanted things to go this far. I don't want to see you get hurt, Emily. Please, you have to believe me." Emily hesitated, but she could see the sincerity in Lucas's eyes. "What is she planning?" Lucas leaned in closer, his voice barely a whisper. "She's going to try to destroy Adam's company. She's been gathering information, blackmailing people, and she's got something big that she's planning to leak to the press. If it gets out, it could ruin him." Emily's blood ran cold. She knew that Karen was capable of terrible things, but this was beyond anything she had imagined. "Lucas, you need to tell Adam this. He needs to know." "I can't," Lucas said, shaking his head. "She's got something on me too. If I go to him, she'll destroy me. But you can warn him. You can stop this before it's too late." Emily nodded, determined to protect Adam at all costs. "Thank you, Lucas. I'll take care of it." As soon as Lucas left, Emily called Adam and told him everything. Adam listened carefully, his expression growing darker with each word. "This ends now," Adam said grimly. "I'm going to put a stop to this, once and for all." The next morning, Adam met with his legal team and began taking steps to protect his company. He also contacted the authorities, providing them with the information that Lucas had given Emily. Meanwhile, Emily stayed close to her mother, worried that Karen might try something desperate. The tension built over the next few days. It felt like they were all waiting for a storm to hit. Then, just as Lucas had warned, a scandalous story about Adam's company was leaked to the press. The story was full of lies and twisted facts, clearly intended to destroy Adam's reputation. But Adam was ready. He had already taken steps to counter the damage, and with the help of his legal team, he quickly disproved the allegations. Karen, seeing her plan fall apart, became even more unhinged. She started making wild accusations and threatening everyone involved. but her actions only served to expose her. The authorities quickly gathered enough evidence to arrest her for harassment, blackmail, and other crimes. Karen was finally stopped, and Emily and Adam could breathe a sigh of relief. With Karen out of the picture, Emily and Adam's lives slowly returned to normal. They continued to build their relationship, and Emily found a new sense of peace and happiness. She no longer had to worry about the past coming back to haunt her, and she felt free to embrace her future with Adam. But their journey wasn't over yet. One day, Adam surprised Emily with a trip to a place that held special meaning for both of them: the big, beautiful house where Emily had grown up. It had been abandoned for years, but Adam had bought it as a gift for Emily. "I want us to start fresh, Emily," Adam said as they stood in front of the old house. "This place holds so many memories, but it also represents a new beginning. I want to restore it and make it our home." Emily was overwhelmed with emotion. The house had once been a symbol of loss and pain, but now it represented hope and love. She could hardly believe that the place where her life had fallen apart would now be where she would build her future with Adam. As they walked through the empty halls, hand in hand, Emily knew that they were ready to face whatever challenges the future might bring. They had been through so much, but they had come out stronger on the other side. Emily finally felt like she had found her place in the world, and she knew that as long as they were together, nothing could tear them apart. And so, with the past behind them and a bright future ahead, Emily and Adam embarked on a new chapter in their lives. They worked together to fix up the house, and this special project brought them closer than ever. Each room they renovated, each wall they painted, was a step toward building a life together. Emily poured her heart into decorating the house, choosing colors and furniture that reflected both of their tastes. The once abandoned home was slowly transformed into a warm and welcoming place, filled with light and love. Adam often joked that the house was as much a reflection of Emily's creativity and spirit as it was of their shared dreams. As the house came to life, so did their plans for the future. Adam suggested they host a housewarming party, inviting friends and family to celebrate their new beginning. Emily was nervous at first, but the idea of filling the house with laughter and joy excited her. The day of the party arrived, and the house was bustling with activity. Emily's mother was there, smiling proudly, and Adam's closest friends and business partners came to show their support. Even Lucas made an appearance, having reconciled with Emily and Adam after helping to bring Karen to justice. He had turned over a new leaf and was eager to start fresh, just like them. The house was filled with music, conversation, and the smell of delicious food. Emily looked around, feeling a deep sense of contentment. She had never imagined that she would have a life like this, a life filled with love, friendship, and the promise of a happy future. As the evening wore on at the party, Adam felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. He had planned something special, something he had been thinking about for a long time. As the guests enjoyed themselves, he gently took Emily's hand and led her to the center of the room. Everyone grew quiet, sensing that something important was about to happen. Adam looked into Emily's eyes, his heart full of love. "Emily," he began, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "I've loved you for as long as I can remember. We've been through so much together, and every moment has brought us closer. I can't imagine my life without you." Emily's eyes widened in surprise, her heart racing as she realized what was happening. Adam continued, "This house, this life we're building, none of it would mean anything without you. You're my best friend, my love, my everything." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small box, opening it to reveal a beautiful ring. "Emily, will you marry me?" Tears filled Emily's eyes as she looked at the ring, then back at Adam. She could barely speak, but she managed to whisper, "Yes, Adam, yes. I'll marry you." The room erupted in cheers and applause as Adam slipped the ring onto Emily's finger. They embraced, their hearts full of joy and love. The moment was perfect, surrounded by friends and family in the house that had once been a symbol of loss, but was now a place of new beginnings. Meanwhile, in prison, Karen faced the consequences of her actions. Her time behind bars was difficult, and she was forced to confront the choices that had led her there. She realized too late the damage she had caused, not just to others but to herself as well. She spent her days in reflection, hoping to one day find a way to make amends. Lucas, on the other hand, had turned his life around after helping Emily and Adam bring Karen to justice. He had always been a good person at heart, and the experience had made him realize the importance of doing the right thing. He found a new job and began building a better life for himself, one that was honest and true. He remained in contact with Emily and Adam, who had forgiven him for his past mistakes. They all realized that second chances are an important part of life, and Lucas was determined to take full advantage of his opportunity. Back at the party as the night continued, the atmosphere was filled with love and celebration. Emily and Adam danced together, lost in the moment, knowing that their future was bright. They were surrounded by people who cared for them. As they danced, Emily thought about how far they had come. From the little girl who lost everything, to the woman who found love in the most unexpected way. And Adam, the boy who had always loved her, now stood by her side as the man she would soon call her husband. The house, once a symbol of her family's downfall, was now a place where new memories were being made happy, memories that they would cherish forever. It was a place where love had been rekindled, where hope had been restored, and where a future full of promise awaited. The night ended with a toast. As Adam and Emily stood together, surrounded by their loved ones, "To new beginnings," Adam said, raising his glass, "and to love, which brought us back together after all these years." Emily smiled, her heart full of happiness. "To love," she echoed, clinking her glass against his. As they sipped their drinks and looked around the room, they knew that their journey was just beginning. There would be challenges ahead, but they would face them together with love as their guide. And so, Emily and Adam's story continued, filled with hope, joy, and the promise of a beautiful future. The past was behind them, and the life they had always dreamed of was now within reach. They were ready to embrace it, hand in hand, forevermore.
Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe for more English lessons. See you in the next video.